guys, it's Teenage DC Fan back in another video, and last week's episode of The Flash ended with Barry and Iris deciding that they needed to prepare the rest of Team Flash for Barry's upcoming death. And so they begin that in earnest in last night's episode, titled Dead Man Running. And it opens with them sitting the entire team down, tell them that the crisis from the future newspaper is coming on December 10th, 2019. So they conveniently decide not to mention that Barry's going to die, which of course is a stupid move since we've seen countless times that keeping secrets only makes things worse, but luckily that choice doesn't last for the entire episode. And of course, Cisco, Ralph, and Frost are all shocked about the news and immediately question whether they can trust the Monitor, but Barry and Iris assure them that it's true. And given what Barry saw when he went to Earth 3, so the team obviously wants to get to work on changing the future. But Barry and Iris suggest that they all take a day to process. Barry clocks that Frost is taking the news the hardest and decides to start mentoring her first. So Barry brings Frost with him to a crime scene where a bunch of arms dealers were brutally murdered by Mitch Romero, who's the guy that Ramsey Rosso hit with the black goo in the last episode. So all of this is new to Frost, and she treats the entire scene like it's nothing. Like, she treats it like it's not a murder scene or a crime scene. So yeah, but she does actually end up helping them get their first break in the case, because she figures out that whoever killed the men stole all of the dark matter out of all the guns. And that one detail leads them directly to Ramsey Rosso's office, since Frost remembers what Ramsey asked Caitlin for in the premiere of the season, and she believes that he's desperate enough to kill for it. So in the process of the investigation, Barry realizes that Frost may need a bit more guidance before he shuffles off this mortal coil for a couple of reasons. First, she comes in hot and holds Ramsey at icicle point when they question him about the missing dark matter. But of course he lies and claims he got some dark matter from Ted Kord. And that's actually a nice reference, because if you don't know, Ted Kord is a character from the comics, and he's the original Blue Beetle. So maybe we'll see Blue Beetle at some point in the Arrowverse, because that would be really cool to see. But actually, when the two speed over to Mercury Labs after getting a break-in call, Frost ends up ice blasting Romero out of a window, to Barry's horror, because he's like, "What? Why'd you do that? He probably dead now." But then somehow Romero simply just gets up and walks away, because he's been dead for 24 hours and the dark matter is simply strengthening his body. So he can't die because he's already dead. He's basically a zombie. So after learning about Romero's post-mortem existence, Ramsey offers to come to Star Labs and help them come up with a dark matter-powered serum that would weaken Romero. And of course it's all pretext so that he can steal some more dark matter, but Barry catches him in the act. Then they have a conversation. The two men learn that they both have expiration dates that they're approaching differently. And while Ramsey is scared of death and wants to fight it, Barry, like Ramsey's mother, isn't. In fact, Barry wants to spend what little time he has left saving as many people as he can, like a true hero. And he offers Ramsey the chance to do the same, and the scientist ends up giving the dark matter back, and he agrees to help. But that doesn't mean he hasn't stopped in his quest. So that conversation also helps Barry understand what's going on with Frost, because she is scared of death. Let's see, where was I? Yeah, so she's scared of death. Okay, that guy's gotta shut up. But yeah, so she's scared of death, but she just got the opportunity, to to live. And now she finds out that the world is going to end in 2 months. And then she mentions that Baskin Robbins has 31 different flavors, and that she might die before she gets to figure out which one is her favorite, or what her favorite song is, or even have her first birthday party. And, that's a funny line, but then as you start to think about it, it's honestly really sad. Because she's been alive for about 30 years, but she's never had any of that. Because she's always been trapped in Caitlin's body. And Barry understands how she's feeling and lets her know that everyone deals with living on borrowed time. And he gives some advice to her, and he says that's why you can't let the threat of losing tomorrow keep you from making the most of today. And honestly, that's some good advice. Very inspirational. So if you need to hear something inspirational, then there you go. But that little bit of wisdom about fearing the unknown also applies to what's going on with Ralph and his mother Debbie, whom we meet in last night's episode as well. So Ralph and Cecile team up to help Debbie out with a legal problem, but in the process Ralph discovers that his mother has been lying to him for years. Because apparently every time she broke up with one of her boyfriends, she told him they died because she was worried about hurting him the same way his father did when he left. But eventually Debbie reveals that she actually just broke up with all of them because she didn't want to be hurt herself by any of them. So Ralph, who's undergone a ton of growth since joining the show, knows better and says she's closing herself off from joy by doing that. And Debbie believes she's not cut out for joy, but her son is. But luckily, Ralph is there to save the day because he gives her a special copy of the Book of Ralph, which of course is very helpful. Totally. But back at Star Labs, the dark matter-hungry Romero breaks in and comes face to face with Ramsey. But this is like a really weird but creepy part. So he discovers that the two of them are connected, and that Romero obeys and follows his every move. But then the spell is broken when Barry enters the room and lures Romero to the pipeline, where he and Frost overdose the zombie on dark matter until he explodes, covering them in goo. It's like he literally exploded and he went splat. So now they're covered in zombie guts and blood and stuff. But with the day saved, Ramsey heads back to his lab, intent on experimenting with the goo, which apparently healthy human blood cells supercharged by dark matter, and he believes that this is the key to curing HLH and any other human disease. And I'm having trouble talking today. But unfortunately, he's going to need more of it for his human trials after he absorbs what little he was able to salvage from the dude, Romero. Yeah, that guy. But meanwhile, Barry throws Frost a birthday party at Star Labs, which is the second time this season we've seen Team Flash hang out outside of saving the day, and it looks like a pretty good party. But of course the good times must eventually come to an end because Frost figures out that Barry is dying, and both she and Iris convince Barry to tell the entire team. So they do just that. And while it was stupid for Barry and Iris to keep a secret from the team in the first place, at least the writers didn't try to create needless drama out of it. Also, as you can tell by the thumbnail of this video and the image on screen here, this episode also introduced the new version of Harrison Wells for this season, and his name is Harrison Nash Wells, so he goes by Nash. And Iris and Cisco cross paths with him when he ziplined into an alleyway looking for a multiversal element called Eternium, and he's very Indiana Jones-esque. And yes, this version of Wells is as smart as previous ones, but he does think that the Council of Wells is a joke, because he's an adventurer. And as the episode ends, we see him peering down a manhole, clearly having found what he was looking for. So, we don't really know what he was looking for. But I have a theory that this version of Wells may end up becoming Pariah, because of course we know that Pariah is a character we will have as a part of Crisis on Infinite Earths, and that Pariah will be played by Tom Cavanaugh. So maybe this version of Wells will turn into the Pariah. But also, Iris and Cisco become aware of Nash's presence on Earth 1 because Allegra got a tip about it, and Allegra actually came very close to finding out about the existence of the multiverse. But of course, Iris managed to talk her down a bit, and yeah. So that's what happened in this episode of The Flash. This was a really good episode, and I'm really excited for our next episode because it's a Halloween episode, and it's titled There Will Be Blood, and I think Ramsey Rosso will transform into his true form of Bloodwork, and he will become this terrifying creature, murderous creature, and it's gonna look really cool. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and hope to see you in the next video so I can bestow all my DC knowledge upon you.